My name is Nassime Saps.
Tell you when he said. Go ahead. Okay, Kathleen. Take it for me from the beginning, Kathleen. What did you see? What did you hear?
I heard a plane, low, and I looked out the window, and then I saw something push building in, and then I saw the tail, and then I saw flames engulf the whole upper portion, and then I saw the smoke, and the whole trailer rocked. The trailer was almost lifted off the ground, and then I just started screaming because I could feel what was going on with the people.
What could you feel?
I just felt pain. And all I could think of was my family, to make sure that they knew I was okay, because they know that I work here. It just tore me up like it tore up the building. And I just can't believe anyone could do that, regardless of what your political views are. How anybody could do that to innocent people. And I remember looking at the clock that it was 9 o'clock, and I said, here's people sitting at their desks with families. And then they weren't anymore.
And then there was a second plane.
Then I was on the phone with my mother, looking out my window in my office, and she said, oh my God, another plane hit. And then I saw the burst of flames and the smoke, and I just started screaming. Because then I felt it all over again. I just felt it all over again. I hope I never, or anybody ever, has to know that feeling. And the people just milling around, lost. Everybody looked lost.
They didn't know what to do. What could you do?
Nothing. Pray. Pray that God took them quick. The impact was unbelievable. And the flames and the smoke.
And even now, Kathleen.
Can't even look at it. Because all I can see are people. I don't see a building, I see people. People hurt. Children without mothers and fathers tonight. So I ran to the phone and I called my daughter's school to make sure that my daughter knew I was okay. And my family knew I was okay. And we let people use the phone to call their families. Because that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Now when the plane, exactly what part of the plane you saw?
The tail.
All right.
I saw a silver flash and the flames, and I saw a pointy tail. That's how I knew it was a plane. It's like a silver flash. It was sunny today, so it was silver. And I saw the tail. Because it went in. If it was a bomb, it would have gone out, and it went in. And everything was pushed in. And then we saw the people jumping. We saw what we thought was debris, and we realized it was people jumping. Oh, I asked you guys.
The other one's gonna go.
The other tower
Yeah.
is gonna go? Okay, this is like our story. Why are they pulling us out of here?
Because the tower's leaning. The north tower.
The north tower
is leaning.
Right. Oh my God, there it goes!
Because it went in. If it was a bomb, it would have gone out, and it went in. And everything was pushed in. because it went in. If it was a bomb, it would have gone out, and it went in.
I did see the fireball, and I saw the papers that were blown out from the windows in the offices were just unbelievable. It looked like a confetti parade.
Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been in cry.
Okay, it's time for a new game in which Neil Diamond fans from our audience go head-to-head with each other in a game we're calling Diamond Trivia. And the winner gets a very, very, very exciting prize. Trust me. You will be saying my name at Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow and every day forever after. Okay, let us meet our contestants. This is
Judy Fredericks
from
Amity, Pennsylvania.
And how many times have you seen Neil Diamond in concert?
Probably 54 times.
The impact was unbelievable. And the flames and the smoke.
And even now, Kathleen.
Can't even look at it. Because all I can see are people. I don't see a building, I see people. People hurt.
I love these people. Okay, here's how we're going to play. I'm going to ask you Neil Diamond related trivia, and if you know the answer, you ring the bell in front of you. If you are correct, you get a point. Whoever has the most points at the end of the games wins a fabulous, did I mention you're going to thank me tomorrow at Thanksgiving? Whoever wins prize. All right.
Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been in cry.
Okay, it's time for a new game.
I bought this magazine back in 2012 off of eBay because it's David Rockefeller, the man who more than anyone made sure that the Twin Towers got built shortly after construction began, so I thought there might be some interesting, sneaky revelation of the method, style, language in the article. Then I noticed that he has the hands of his quite visible watch set at 9 and 11. I always felt like there must be more to this cover, but it took me 3 years to figure it out. As you can see, he's sitting in the window of his office in 1967, 8 months after the groundbreaking for the building of the World Trade Center, with the hands of his watch set at 9 and 11, like I said. 9 and 11 on clocks was one of their favorite ways to foreshadow the upcoming date of their mass murder. They did this in many movies, television shows, and even commercials in the lead-up to 9/11. Either the hands are pointing almost exactly at 9 and 11, or it's 11 minutes after 9. There was always something that bothered me about the so-called plane hole on the north face of the North Tower, the iconic one that really represents the 9/11 false flag and the one that they show us the most. I knew it was an important shape and angle for Rockefeller, and he knew well in advance exactly what he was going to make sure that it looked like. After all, it appears on the $10 bill back in the 1990s series, along with all the other scenes from 9/11 laid out in perfect order on the bills. This is also one of the first things that showed me that. So the other day it occurred to me, the fake plane hole on the North Tower looks like one of the wounds that was on the Jesus statue on the crucifix at the church when I was a kid. Same shape and angle. So I start looking up crucifixion images just to be sure, and this article comes up. Jesus' crucifixion date, possibly April 3rd, 33 AD, according to earthquake study. See, the Bible says that when Jesus died, the ground shook, and they're able to go back that far and figure out when earthquakes occurred, apparently. April 3rd just happens to be the date of this magazine. So then I checked how many years there were between 33 AD, the probable year of the crucifixion, and 2001, the year of the mass human sacrifice on 9/11, foreshadowed on Rockefeller's watch. The number was 1,967, represented by the year seen here. In case you haven't heard, many people have been saying for quite a while that the probable actual birth date of Jesus was September 11, 3 BC. On that date, Jupiter, the king of the planets, collided with Regulus, the regal star, in Leo, the king constellation. I'll link to a much more thorough explanation below, but to me, it's one of those things that make a lot of sense. And after studying these people for a while, it's exactly the type of thing they like to do. Take something pure and important to a lot of people and twist it and pervert it. Have the sheep celebrate the birth of Christ on the wrong day, coinciding with a pagan holiday, actually. The very word Christmas does not mean the birth of Christ, but in fact his death. So they take the date 9/11 and corrupt it into something that in our minds signifies emergency, and make the actual day into a day of terror and sadness and mourning. In the 1940s, David Rockefeller's uncle Winthrop Aldrich was on a committee to attempt to get the World Trade Center built back then. They were also foreshadowing 9/11 in the 1944 movie Double Indemnity, and even throwing in an allusion to the name Rockefeller in the same film. In the 1960s, a plan was introduced for a nationwide emergency number. Britain implemented 999 as their emergency number back in the 1930s. Australia and New Zealand selected 999 and 111 respectively as their emergency numbers in the 1950s. Yet for some reason, in 1968, just a year after this magazine came out, AT&T announced at a press conference that a universal emergency number was being established for the U.S. However, instead of 3 like numbers for ease of dialing in a crisis, numbers that could not be further apart on the dial would be used. 9 and 1 and 1 had been chosen by a computer, they said. Besides being a client of the Rockefeller-funded and directed RAND, the 1975 book The Rockefeller Syndrome lists AT&T as just one of the many companies under Rockefeller control or influence. In the book Rockefeller, the Man Who Misrules the World, AT&T is referred to as the Rockefellers' family-owned monopoly. So they used their power to make the numbers 911, birth date of the Prince of Peace, signify danger and crisis, and after September 11, 2001, heartache and mourning. Rockefeller puppet Ronald Reagan even designated September 11, 1987 to be 911 Emergency Number Day, calling on the people of the United States to observe this day with appropriate ceremonies and activities. And every year, like clockwork, the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, an enormous representation of the one thing the Bible tells us not to drag into our homes and decorate with gold and silver, is lit at 8:55 p.m., when the hands on the clock are exactly as they are on Rockefeller's watch. So here we have David Rockefeller, the man who was instrumental more than anyone on the planet in ensuring that the Twin Towers got built. Less than a year after the construction began, with the probable date of the crucifixion of Christ above his head, along with the years between that event and 2001 listed here, and the probable date of Christ's birthday and, of course, the date of the mass murder that took place in his towers in 2001 on his watch.
Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good.